Good morning, everyone. Welcome. We are going to get started with the speaking program. Good morning. Welcome. We are going to get started with the speaking program. Something new for this event is we're hybrid this year. So we do have some folks that are going to be joining us virtually. So you'll note the camera in the back. So we'll be starting now. I'm new.
So good morning. Welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Libby Saylor-Wright, and I have the distinct honor of being here in two capacities. One as a graduate, like many of you, of the University of Connecticut in '94 from the graduate school. I'll tell you that little story in a second. But also as the chair for the Women's Leadership Council as part of Women in Philanthropy. And again, super excited to be here. It's not often that you get to be in a room that is filled with mostly women and their wonderful allies. And it's also, given everything that we've gone through, not often that we actually get to be in a group. So it really feels wonderful, warm, and welcoming. So it is absolutely fantastic to see each and every one of you. So my son and I, who's over there taking pictures, traveled in from Dallas, Texas. And so I think we might get the award for coming the furthest for the actual event. But we're super excited to be here, and he also got the opportunity to briefly see the school today. We are going to have a wonderful time, and I'm going to try to stay on task with my remarks, but I will say I'm super excited to be here, and I have a lot of things that are swimming through my head, and I've had the opportunity to meet so many wonderful women and men already this morning. So thank you so much. So that's my first part. I think I did the first thing right, which is welcoming everybody and saying who I am. I also want to make sure that I acknowledge everybody in here is extremely important, but I want to make sure that I acknowledge a few people who really have paved a way for many of us that are in here today. And as I call your name, if you would please stand and let everybody see you, do your pageant wave. The first you're going to hear from in just a little bit, but it's, of course, our very own Dr. Ann DeLeva, and she's over there waving. We also have Marilda Kandara, who is here with us today. We have Sue Collins, who is here with us today. We have Paula Singer, who is here with us today as well. She's remote. Paula Singer is virtual. Everybody wave to the camera. Hey, Paula. And last but not least, Christine Ladwick, who is here with us today as well. And I had a wonderful conversation with her as soon as we got here. So again, thank you all for joining us. I am going to switch to this for just a second and so I'm going to just talk a little bit about something that's incredibly important and passionate to me, and it is around women in leadership. So continue enjoying your meal, and if I say something that resonates with you, let me know. If you have questions, if you want to participate in the conversation, we can do that as well. I will tell you, like many of you, when I was a little girl, growing up not too far from here, actually in Springfield, Massachusetts, I wanted to be, or actually probably thought I was, Wonder Woman. Okay? And so I would put on the leotard, right? I had high heel boots that were my mother's, mind you, because of course I didn't have high heel boots as a girl. So I had high heel boots that I would put on. I had bangles that I would put on my wrist, and I would run around the house jumping off of things, screaming, "Wonder Woman!" And I was just serving justice to everything and anything that was in my way. But the reality is, as I started to think about Wonder Woman, I was like, wow, she's so powerful, and she's individually great, and she's got this power because of her own abilities. Well, if you guys know the story as you grow up, the arc around Wonder Woman is that actually she grew up on an island of other women. And she was trained by her mother, her aunts, and all of the women in the village to protect the village and then ultimately to protect the world. See, that's what this is. with women in philanthropy, with women leadership, with women supporting each other. That is what this is. It is a group of women that mentor and educate and strive to grow other women to be the powerful women that they can go out and be and lead in whatever way is important for you to lead. So always remember the strength of having a collective of women and their allies. Never want to leave the guys out. And their allies to make sure that we get to exactly where it is that we want to be. So I'm also going to switch a little bit and say, well, why do we still need the collective impact of women in philanthropy? Why do we still need organizations that focus on women and empowering women and advancing women? Why do we need that? Do we still need that? I mean, after all, the president of the University of Connecticut is a woman. The provost of the University of Connecticut is a woman. Your two most senior individuals are women. So do you still need organizations like this? Yes. Absolutely. Because I'm going to tell you, despite the fact that your two most senior women are senior leaders are women, 22% of colleges actually have presidents that are women. And I think I met one of them last night, so I'm going down the list. I'll meet them all before it's over with. And the reality, though, is guess how many women are actually enrolled in college? The percentage. 30%. I heard of 50%. Almost 60% of college students are women. So 22% have presidents that are women, but 60%, 60, okay? We're being more educated at a time more than any time ever before. So that's in college. Well, let's translate that to what happens when you get into the work world, okay? So corporate America. Corporate America, 50% of the people that are in corporate America are women at the entry level, 50%. 25% are in the C-suite, not CEOs, in the C-suite. Many of those holding traditional jobs like that they see women in, chief HR officers, chief marketing officers, right? Very few chief information or technical officers, very few CFOs, okay? And so, but then when you think of when you think of CEOs and women of color, so women of color in the C-suite goes down to 5%. 1 in 20 women of color, okay? So now we're going that way. CEOs, for the first time in the 68-year history of the Fortune 500 listing, 10% of the CEOs are women. First time, 10%. And we're all like, woo! But it's 10%, still 10%. One of them actually is a graduate of the University of Connecticut, Joanne Kravoiserat. I think I got that right. I hope I did. And ironically, small world, she runs Tapestry brands. I work for Microsoft in the retail and consumer goods group, and they're one of our customers. Haven't met her yet, but I'm working on it. I'm working on it. So that's the initial problem, right? So what happens? Well, the first thing that happens is that you come in at 50% in corporate America, more men get promoted to manager. So we don't even make it past the first step. For every 100 men that are promoted to managers, only 87 women are. Only 87, okay? Women are more likely to leave the company than become directors at their company, mid-management. More likely to leave than become directors. So right there, that is what McKinsey calls the broken rung. Right there at the beginning, we're not advancing to the same level as men are, okay? And then once you get to there, what we're finding out now is women have a desire and criteria that in some cases is much different than the expectations of men in corporate America. So if you don't make it past that first, if you got the broken rung as a problem, the second problem you now have is you got more women leaving because the environment is not conducive and not inclusive of women, and they do not feel as supported. So we have got to fix all of that. And why do we have to fix all of that? We have to fix all of that because we deserve gender parity, first of all, or gender equity. I use equity, not parity. That was a mistake. Equity, that's a difference. And we talk about what that is later. But gender equity, we deserve it. We deserve pay equity as well, right? Because then what happens is, if you look at what's happening at the university level, you look at what we're doing within Women in Philanthropy, you look at all of the scholarships, women are also in more debt. Because we've got 60% in school, school's expensive nowadays. You've got the majority of the debt. You now, fast forward, can't pay that debt as fast back because why? Well, somebody's not paying you enough, right? Not paying you the amount of that they're paying the person next to you for the very same work. So this is why I spend so much time talking about this. I've got personal experience from my work history, but I also have experience from looking at the data and the research, and there's absolutely no reason why we can't overcome this. And if you're wondering, well, does it really make a difference? I'm going to tell you yes. I'm going to tell you from a use case it makes a difference. So forget about does it feel good and is it the right thing to do. From a use case, what would you say if I tell you for a gender equity at the C-suite of corporate America, do those companies perform better than other companies that are not gender diverse? Yes. By what percentage? Yeah, I love that. She's like, I'm really into it. By 26%. If you add gender diversity and ethnic diversity, it is 36%. Women are starting half of the businesses in this country. How much of the venture capital dollars are they getting? Somebody said 30? 12? 3%. 3%. They start half of the businesses, they're getting 3% of the money. And then when they get the money, it's not as same. So if I was going to give this person over here, sorry to point at you, sir, $1 million, then I give this person over here $750 for the same thing. So not only am I not getting as much percentage-wise, I'm not getting as much dollar-wise either. But then this is going to really blow your mind, and then I'm going to stop talking. This is what's going to blow your mind. Women-owned businesses that do receive funding return a profit almost a year faster than their male counterparts. Women who get into the CEO of a publicly traded company perform statistically better in terms of delivering revenue back to the companies and to the stakeholders better than men. Why is that? We don't have a choice. When we're finally given the opportunity to do so, not only are we doing it for ourselves, we're doing it for every one of us because we're building on a foundation of which the next generation and the next generation and the next generation is not standing up here talking about these same statistics that I'm talking about today. And the other reason why I will say it's important, and you can call me whichever you want to call me, I think women tend to do more of the work, not only in the office, but certainly also in the home and in the community. And when you do that, the level of give back, you grow a community. You grow this world. And for the first time, and this is a silver lining of COVID, for the first time, women's traits, like natural traits in leadership, are being appreciated. We are more empathetic. That's okay. We need empathetic leadership. We are more inclusive. That's perfectly fine. We're courageously vulnerable, I like to say. Right? Not just vulnerable, but courageously vulnerable, because you have to have courage in order to be vulnerable. And we're humble. And not humble in a way that means I'm doing this, but humble in the way that you understand the role that you have in nurturing and growing a world. So I think I said everything I wanted to say. But I do want to say that this organization is absolutely fantastic. We have 2,200 members at this point, over 200 scholarships, $12.5 million in the last 6 years to many of the beautiful young faces that are in this room today. And so give yourselves a hand. Okay. I'm sure I completely went over time. And so now I have the pleasure of introducing Dr. DeLeva. So I think many of you already know her, but in the event that you don't, I will let you know. She is the Provost and Executive Vice President for Academic Affairs. She serves as UConn's Chief Academic Officer, which I really like. I'll have to strive for that in later life, with responsibility for all academic units and operations. She was named Permanent Provost on December 1st of 2022. Prior to that, in May of 2022, she was the interim provost. She served as the dean of the School of Fine Arts since 2015. She was the first woman to serve as the provost in UConn's history. We do know that. She's a champion of innovative and creative collaborative efforts across all disciplines, schools, colleges, including between the School of Fine Arts and the School of Engineering and the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences and the School of Education, the Human Rights Institute, and the UConn Athletics. She joined the university in the fall of 1999 and was appointed as the Art, History, and Women's Gender and Sexuality Studies to the department. I should have said that. She has served in many institutional leadership roles, including as a member of the university's Academic Vision Committee. And prior to being named the Fine Arts Dean, she served as the Associate Dean for the School of Fine Arts and the Head of Art and Art History. That's a lot of good stuff. She received a BA in Art History from Harvard University and her MA and PhD in Art History from Columbia University and a graduate certificate in Feminist Theory. I look forward to that too. So thank you so much and welcome, please, Dr. DeLeyva.
Are these live? Yes. Great. Very live. I'll stay like this. So it is a great pleasure to be with all of you here today. I will say I am feeling very emotional being with you. It's been a long time since we've been able to gather like this, and I have formal remarks prepared, but I actually don't think I'm going to use them to any great extent, because to me this is all about community and being together, and I think we all know how precious that is after the experiences of the last few years. And let me begin by thanking Libby for those beautiful remarks, so inspirational, and your ability to inspire us and identify the next set of structural barriers we need to overcome is absolutely wonderful and inspirational. And you just represent the best of UConn in every way, through your own achievements and through the way that you give back. So thank you for that. So as you heard, I came to UConn in fall of '99, and I'll just speak personally for a moment about UConn and the UConn community of women and what it means to me. I arrived 3 years out of graduate school. I'd had a teaching position in the Midwest for a couple of years and a postdoc, and I came to UConn for the first joint appointment between the School of Fine Arts, and I was in art history, of course, and what was then called the Women's Studies program, now Women's Gender and Sexuality Studies. And I think what was so important to me coming to this university was the warm welcome that I received from colleagues, from students. And you know, I'm looking at the fabulous Dr. Melina Price here. She was one of the first people to welcome me to campus and embrace me. Kathleen Holgerson is here. We were chatting before. Kathleen, how many projects have we done together? How many times have we collaborated? And it is that sense of community that I think is so very powerful, and what is so distinctive about UConn. UConn is a place that lifts up women and makes so many things possible for so many women. Again, just to speak personally, I'm standing here thinking about my wife, Kathy, who graduated from UConn. And she played women's basketball here. She finished playing actually the year before Coach Ariemma came. She's very proud that she served on the search committee as a student representative. She credits herself very often for that. But most importantly, she was part of the first complete Title IX class in women's basketball. There had been individual players before that. And as you know, we just had a fabulous Title IX celebration on campus this fall. And honestly, what is most important to her, and unfortunately, you will need to hear from her directly someday. Right now, she's with our daughter, who's at basketball practice this morning. So, we've come full circle. More important than the individual achievement for her is being part of that class. And that is what she speaks about with most pride. That moment when UConn invested in its women athletes and recruited not just 1 or 2 scholarship athletes in a women's sport, but recruited an entire class. And UConn was ahead of everybody in doing that. And it is that kind of leadership in supporting and uplifting women that is important. It's that kind of support and community for women that has been so important to me, so important to my family, and is something that I know as provost I'm committed to building every day. And as I look around this room, I see so many colleagues and friends and supporters of the university, so many of our alums, and we make a powerful community together. I often say that UConn's greatest strength is its people. We have, of course, wonderful state support. Of course, at the moment, it could be a little more wonderful, but we won't go into that. We have an amazing board of trustees. We have so many, great corporate partnerships. We have great relationships with our high schools. It's a beautiful set of campuses spread across the state. So many assets, so many strengths. But UConn's greatest strength is its people. And we see that here in this room today. And it is, honestly, I have to say, every day that I work at UConn, and as you heard, I've been in a lot of different roles at this university. The thing that inspires me and makes all the difficult parts worthwhile is the opportunity to give a student a hand, to give a student a leg up, to give them support, to tell them that they can succeed, to pay that forward in the way that people helped me and supported me, the opportunity, and I imagine for each one of us in this room, that's our motivator, right? That's what keeps us going, what keeps us engaged is the opportunity to pay it forward. And I know so many of the students in the room, and looking at you and knowing all the great things that you are doing on campus, your dynamism, your potential, we want to pay it forward by lifting you up and then seeing you not only go out and achieve, but complete the circle and come back and support the next generation and lift up that next generation. So it is just an incredible pleasure to be here with you all. And I'm actually going to turn the program over to the students now because you need to hear from our amazing students. So I will invite Zoe to the podium. Zoe.
Thank you all for having me today. So I have a very non-traditional pathway to UConn. I grew up in a military family and really found myself looking everywhere around the country for schools. And what really threw me forward is I was going into science and I thought I needed to attend a women's specific university to get into rooms like this and meet the women propelling us forward. I came to UConn for health and really absolutely loved my program. I was able to build a major and continue to grow as a person. And so I found myself fall of 2020, like many students my age, sitting on my parents' couch on Zoom classes, absolutely bored out of my mind. I'm sure my parents would have similar feelings. And I came across the Worth Institute. I would never consider myself an entrepreneur. I still really don't. But I was bored, willing to try anything to just sort of experiment. And they were running a program for the first time called Freshman Female Founders. And I applied, I was just like, why not? And I got in, I found myself on weekly Zoom calls with 11 other wonderful women, and we grew and we were building different projects. And during the process, I gave a TED Talk, and I realized that not many students my age have that opportunity. And so I wanted to open doors for other students and to be able to share their ideas with the alumni community. So through a partnership with the foundation, I built out Innovation Conversations. We had a program in Boston and then one in Chicago last year. We're looking at doing another city. And it was a wonderful opportunity. But again, I found myself kind of hesitant, not really. I did a thing, it's on the resume, but it just wasn't it. And so I continued. Now I work with athletics at the university, and as well as many other groups. I'm a chief of staff at the Worth Institute, and it's been a fantastic opportunity. And I'm so grateful that I came to UConn and love the experience. So thank y'all for having me, and I will turn it over to the next student.
It's a little tall for me. Hi, my name is Natalie Catch, and I'm a junior undergraduate in the pre-veterinary studies here at UConn. I always knew I wanted to be a veterinarian. It was never a question. When I was a little girl, I would preferentially care for my stuffed animals instead of my dolls. It was a little concerning for my parents, but So as such, my entire life has kind of revolved around animals, their care, and just pre-veterinary studies. And my undergraduate career has really been restricted to that one niche. And I heard about the BOLD program through my best friend, Alyssa Daniels, who is sitting in the back over there. She is a member of the 4th cohort, and I was drawn to the program. I was very impressed by her accolades, and I was like, you know what, I want to do that too. And part of what made BOLD so appealing to me was the fact that I could explore some interests outside of the pre-veterinary field. I'm more than just a pre-veterinary student. I really like hiking and the outdoors, and conservation of local ecosystems is very important to me. And I feel like people are unaware of things that are happening on such a local scale. For example, songbird populations and native tree species are absolutely crashing, and it's a problem. So I applied to BOLD with the drive to make a difference in our local community, specifically in southeastern Massachusetts. I was fortunate enough to become a part of BOLD's 5th cohort, and I am currently looking forward to completing my project this upcoming summer. But this project isn't just going to begin, it's a work in progress, and part of that is my BOLD mentor, Emily Reinhart, who is a veterinarian here at UConn. It's been an unexpected gift of the BOLD program, and our relationship has really just been such an incredible consequence of my involvement with this program. She's become one of the most influential people of my life, and I credit much of our relationship to the hours that we have already dedicated towards developing my BOLD project. So I really am so grateful for Women in Philanthropy and BOLD for giving me this opportunity to connect with a female mentor on that level. And I will forever be appreciative of the opportunities that BOLD has provided me. And it's so exciting because the summer hasn't even begun. So looking forward, it's just like, oh my gosh. But thank you to all of you who have made this possible, whether you're an advisor, a donator, or a peer mentor. It's so appreciative. And I really am so grateful that you are investing in the futures of capable young women. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Michaela Dawkins, pronouns she and her. I'm a senior majoring in Human Development and Family Studies and Women, Gender, Sexuality Studies, while also completing my Master of Public Health Accelerated program. I know, a mouthful. Right now, I'm not sure what I want to be. I entered undecided, but I'm passionate about bereavement and counseling. I'm thinking a death doula on the side, but also I'm super passionate about HIV and AIDS prevention and harm reduction services. If you know me, I'm an overachiever, and I'll probably do all the above. But my life goal is to develop programs and efforts related to population health, social determinants of health, and health equity. I also hope to continue working with a nonprofit dedicated to children with incarcerated parents, which is an identity I hold myself. And I also hold the identity of being an independent student. So as you know, scholarships are super essential for me to fund my education and to stay afloat. If it wasn't for scholarships like the 100 Years of Women Scholarship, the Cohen Scholarship, the scholarship from College of Liberal Arts and Science, and more, I wouldn't be able to go on. Today as a senior, I'm super excited to say that I'm able to graduate debt-free with no loans. Which is super important because I come from a non-traditional family. These scholarships mean so much to me. My late mother, who had me at the young age of 16, didn't get a chance to complete college. And she always taught me that education is the key to success. Having my education funded allows me to focus on service. So as of today, I've accrued over thousands of hours of service, from traveling to Costa Rica during an alternative break to serving those in the greater Hartford community to connect them with mental health services. And being given these scholarships has allowed me to take summer courses, winter courses. I have not taken a break since first year, so that I can start grad school early. Woo! So being given these scholarships has allowed me to focus on my hobbies. So just a little bit about what I've done throughout my UConn career. You know, I've worked with the undergraduate student government, student services, where I co-founded the Period Batch, which focuses on menstrual equity for all students on campus. I work with the Rainbow Center, which I hold near and dear to my heart, where I volunteered, you know, with the Gender Affirmation Closet, where I've helped build a partnership with companies to provide gender affirmative wear for students for free. And I've also really hold near and dear to my heart and being an RA, so working with Res Life, where I've helped students like me transitioning to college. You know, as a first-gen student, I've encountered multiple students like me, so I just loved helping them transition to UConn. And then lastly, I love working with Greek Life and with my illustrious sorority, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority, where I've had the chance to focus on advocacy and the betterment of women across the world. Thank you for all your generous contributions. I now have more of an equitable chance to succeed, and I cannot wait to get back, and I mentioned that in this room to a few people today. I cannot wait to pay it forward and contribute I want to create my own scholarship foundation in honor of my late mother. So I cannot wait for that day to come, and I just want to say thank you again. I cannot wait to pay it forward.
All right. Well, can I ask our student speakers to stand up one more time or come closer? And please give them a round of applause. Because again, after all, this is the reason that we do this, and they were fantastic and a wonderful representation of the university and a wonderful representation of all of this, of your hard work. So thank you, thank you. So this is the time that we get to spend together, connecting, networking, sharing, and so don't rush away, but the formal part of the program is over with, and we thank you so much for all that you've done, and thank you for the first time ever with so many women giving 6- and 7-figure donations to the foundation. So thank you, and have a great rest of the day.